Hey, so using TV shows and movies can be a great tool to help you improve your English skills if you are using them correctly and effectively. So today, let's learn some tips on how to make the most of TV shows and movies for your English. Let's go. First of all, you need to choose appropriate content. It's important to choose TV shows and movies that are appropriate for your English level and for your age, okay? Now, sometimes adult English learners watch children's TV shows because they feel like their English level is low, so they watch shows for kids and they feel like, all right, I'm gonna understand this easier. Now, the issue with this is that the content is not relevant to you, and therefore the vocabulary is most likely not going to be appropriate for you. So you might understand the story, you might be able to follow the show or the movie, but what you're learning is not actually useful, and therefore it's going to be kind of in one ear and out the other, all right? Instead, you really want to make sure that you are choosing age appropriate and of course level appropriate content, all right? Now I know that of course you cannot choose the English level of a television show. However, if you choose natural, simple, easy to follow content, this is what I mean by level appropriate. So for example, you want to go with television shows or movies that have a simple, realistic storyline in which you're going to hear sort of realistic, natural dialogue and conversation. And these would be comedies, dramas, documentaries, and so on, okay? So if you're not used to watching television shows or movies in English, and you start off with, let's say, a medical drama or a legal drama that takes place in a courtroom or a hospital, you're going to hear a lot of complex medical or legal language, and that is going to be difficult to understand. Native English speakers don't even know all of the vocabulary in this type of show. So instead, go with something a little bit lighter, a little bit easier, like a drama or a comedy about kind of everyday life, because you're going to hear the characters having more authentic and realistic dialogues. And this way, you can literally take phrases, take vocabulary directly from what you are listening to. So be careful not to choose something that's overly complicated like a medical show or something that's designed for kids, because one is going to be too easy and one is going to be too hard. Pick something that's a little more centered around real life or everyday life. Next, you want to set aside time to actively watch. Now, I know that growing up, a lot of us heard that watching TV is a waste of time. However, it is a great tool for improving a language. Sometimes if you have a show or a movie playing in the background and you're not paying attention, you might feel like, oh, it's still helpful because I'm still kind of listening. But honestly, it's not as effective or helpful as it could be if you were actively listening and actively paying attention. In order for you to understand new vocabulary, idioms, expressions, and so on, you need a context, and you will get the context of the show or the story if you are actively watching, thinking, listening, and paying attention, as opposed to just having something kind of playing in the background while you're cooking, cleaning, or doing something else, all right? Now, this being said, it's also very helpful to watch online or on a streaming service where you can pause, you can rewind, and you can watch again. Next, go ahead and use subtitles in English, of course, not in your native language. When you first start watching TV or watching movies, using subtitles can be very, very helpful because you are learning to recognize the words, the spelling of the words, and the correct pronunciation. So you're reading and listening at the same time. Now, it is very important not to use subtitles in your own language. The reason for this is because you will naturally become dependent on the subtitles. If they're there, you're going to read them, and that is where your focus will be. Now, it is okay to use subtitles, but I recommend this when you're starting out, okay? So the first time you watch a clip, you can use subtitles, but then watch it again without subtitles. And as you get more comfortable, as you get more confident, then I would recommend not using subtitles. But if you have to, it is okay. Just make sure that they're in English. Next, try shadowing. Now, if you don't know, shadowing is a language learning technique in which you listen to someone speak and literally copy them like a shadow. You listen and repeat exactly what you heard. Now, if you don't have people around you to shadow, using videos or TV shows or video clips is a fantastic option. So all you have to do is listen to a short clip of natural English speech. Keep that in mind, okay? Listen to a short clip and literally repeat it as closely as possible to the original. Now, when you are shadowing, pay attention to the pronunciation, the rhythm, the intonation of the original speaker, and try to mimic or copy all of those things. I always recommend that you also record yourself when you are shadowing so you can listen and kind of assess how you did. It's a little bit difficult to assess yourself while you are speaking, but if you can listen back to yourself, it becomes a lot easier. So shadowing is another thing you can do with TV shows and movies that will really help you. Next, use supplementary or additional material to help you understand what you are watching. So for example, you can read a summary or a review of a movie or a TV show online to help you understand the story if you're having trouble. And reading summaries of things that you've watched is a great way to deepen your understanding and to make sure that you've understood what you watched. Next, you can keep a vocabulary journal. It's very helpful to write down the new words, phrases, expressions, and even full sentences that you hear that you think you can actually then use in your real life. Don't write down every single new word that you hear on a TV show or in a movie. That's not necessary, and that can actually be counterproductive because you might end up with just too much new vocabulary and it can be overwhelming and you don't know what to do with it. Instead, just pay attention to the phrases, the expressions, the sentences that you like and you actually want to try using in your real life. Write those down, write some examples, review them, and then try using them in your conversations. As well, pay attention to the context of how they're being used and in what situations. Next, watch different things. Now, this means television shows or movies on different topics, different genres with different accents as well. Now, this is going to help you for a lot of different reasons. First of all, listening to different accents is extremely important because, as I've said many times, English is a universal language. It's not in your best interest only to listen to one accent. So don't only watch television shows with American actors, for example, okay? Switch it up and make sure you are listening to different pronunciation and different accents. As well, if you watch shows on different topics, this is going to give you a wider vocabulary range and it's going to help you learn how to talk about and think about different topics in English, all right? Part of learning such a universal language like English is being able to discuss lots of different topics with lots of different people and to understand different cultures as well. So watch a variety of things. Like I said, comedies, dramas, documentaries, news, video clips online, and so on. Next, it's very important to be consistent with this. You can't expect to watch one movie or one show one time and see dramatic results. Of course, you need to set aside some time to watch things regularly. You don't necessarily have to watch TV every single day for an hour, but a few times a week, if you set aside a little bit of time to watch a video clip, that will be very helpful for you. As well, don't worry about watching something over again. You don't have to watch something only one time, okay? And finally, keep it short or manageable for yourself. So if you've never really watched TV shows or movies in English, don't start off with a 2-hour or 3-hour movie. That is just too long and too much content. It's going to be frustrating, overwhelming, confusing. Instead, you can start off with a 15-minute video clip, for example. And then as you get more comfortable, work your way up to longer things. It is tiring to watch and listen to something very long in English, all right? So instead, you want to start short and then work your way up to longer episodes. If you are interested in watching something long, that's okay too, but make sure that you're breaking it up, okay? So watch 15 minutes at a time. Don't sit down and watch something for 3 hours and then try to learn all the new vocabulary. Again, approach it in a manageable and realistic way. Like I said, TV shows and movies are a fantastic tool for improving your English, but it is important to remember that they are just one out of many other tools, okay? TV shows and movies are fantastic for helping you to improve your listening skills, your comprehension skills, to build your vocabulary, to improve your pronunciation by hearing the correct pronunciation. They also help you to learn about lots of different topics and how to discuss, think about, and talk about different subjects in English. So I would encourage you to take advantage of television shows and movies because I'm sure that you have access to them. With this said, make sure that you are practicing other areas of your English as well, including reading, writing, and most importantly, speaking. You need to make sure that you are taking everything you learn from watching shows and movies, taking all that great information, reviewing it, and then putting it into practice in your real life. So there you have it. These are some practical tips to make the most out of television shows and movies if you like watching TV and if you like movies, of course. Now, I would love to hear what some of your favorite shows and movies are. Please let me know in the comments. I'll also leave some of mine listed down below in the description box, so you can check those out if you need some recommendations. If you have any questions, drop those down below as well. And don't forget to grab your free ebook, English Conversations Made Simple. I will link that down below the lesson. Thank you for watching, learning, and spending time here today. I'll see you very soon in another one.